I want us all to imagine we're in a classroom much like the one we're in now, listening to the teacher give a lecture when random people barge in who say they're from the education department. The teacher stops lecture and the intruders progress forward into the classroom carrying huge boxes. They walk in with no set expression on their faces, heading directly to a shelf full of books in the corner of the class. They then proceed in scooping up the books like vacuums into the boxes. Then they shut the boxes immediately, following with loud slaps of tape. Then the strangers indifferently write "banned books" on the boxes, and they walk out with them like nothing happened. What would you do if this happened in your classroom?
Lawmakers have agreed to ban so-called ethnic studies programs in our schools.
Students are being taught a revolutionary curriculum. It's an outrageous abuse of taxpayer funds.
It's a showdown in Arizona over the right to teach American history, American government, art, and literature from a Mexican-American perspective.
I want people to know that we're proud of our contributions from a Chicano perspective. We're proud of the contributions we made to this country. We think it's worthy of study.
Well, that's what happened here in Tucson, Arizona after House Bill 2281, the ban of ethnic studies, was passed on January 10, 2012 by TUSD. The ban didn't end with just books. The curriculum and any topics discussed in the classes were banned. Some of those topics included oppression, racism, and privilege. The question that always comes to mind with those restrictions is how can you teach history without any of these topics? It's impossible. How would you teach about war, slavery, and poverty? The list goes on. HB 2021 is unlawful and shady overall. Shady, meaning gray spots, illogical, hidden agenda, something hidden, and lastly, shady dealings.
Michael, you've taught a course like this at Georgetown. Mr. Horn is basically saying, look, these classes are teaching these kids that they've been oppressed and that it creates anger and hatred, he said.
Well, it's ironic to me, first of all, Mr. Horn doesn't see the contradiction in terms because he has targeted this law toward Chicana studies. So he's targeted a specific racial subgroup, an ethnic group within the large panoply of American identities for this program. I think that Mr. Horn would agree that when we tell the truth about American history, the blood, the glory, the hardships, and all of that needs to be told along with the great celebration of American democracy.
Tom Horn, former superintendent, wrote HB 2021 and indicates the following. Classes should never, 1. Promote the overthrow of the United States government, 2. Promote resentment toward a race or class of people, 3. Are designed primarily for pupils of a particular ethnic group, 4. Advocate ethnic solidarity instead of the treatment of pupils as individuals. Overall, this bill is just really vague. I mean, how can we go about even following this bill when you don't even understand the meaning of each component of the bill? For example, ethnic solidarity, what does that even look like? And then the fact that he talks about the overthrow of the government, I mean, what in the curriculum would make him come up with this statement? And even the fact that hasn't even stepped into the classroom also questions the statements that he has put in this bill. So I'm going to be talking to you about the head shady politicians of Tucson. 1. Tom Horn for writing the bill. 2. Jen Brewer for signing unlawful bills like SB 1070 and HB 2021. 3. John Hubenthal, the superintendent of Arizona Public Schools, for telling TUSD if they didn't comply with HB 2021, they were due to lose about $14 million a year. And also for recently trying to eliminate the MS department at the University of Arizona. 4. John Petticone for ignoring youth voice and for firing teachers in the MAS department without cause. And lastly, the TUSD board for not representing the community voice. As a current student of the University of Arizona, I'm proud to say that I am an alumni of the now eliminated Rasa Studies classes. Through my experience with those classes, I have grown as an individual and I've learned to find my identity, and I feel like something like that shouldn't just be easily taken away, especially when it has been such a great success for students to pursue further education. Because of those classes, I did become more active in my community, which I think is very important. And with that, I started getting involved with this group called Unidos, and it stands for United Non-Discriminatory Individuals Demanding Our Studies. I have been able to act in my community and made changes, but it takes more than one person to act.
Education's under attack! What do we do? Fight back! Our education's under attack! What do we do?
After much racism being inflicted by all the politicians and TUSD, the youth have not stood by and watched. After all, we are the future and we are the ones being affected directly by the bill. We must understand that youth are the movement. They have been the circulating risk takers for all injustices throughout history. Youth voice matters, and without it we risk being silenced and falling. Like Gandhi says, we must become the change we want to see. Something that students of other racial backgrounds say is that the bill doesn't apply to them because they're not from the Latino descent. But we must understand that it's bigger than that. If we disagree with the following, I ask that you act. 1. Censorship. 2. Racism. 3. Oppression. These issues reflect the bill. By choosing to separate yourself, you agree with the previous statements. As Sam Hamill says, nothing will change until we demolish the we and they mentality. We are human, and therefore all human concerns are ours.